Well, let's turn now to a topic close to many people's hearts, how the pandemic has transformed the world of dating. The popular dating app Hinge says dates on its site were actually up 14% worldwide in 2020 compared with 2019. More than 40% of all Hinge users have been on virtual dates, and 65% want to continue using video chats in their dating lives after the pandemic. Now that the U.S. is opening back up, we spoke with 4 singles about how the pandemic and being vaccinated has changed their dating lives.
I'm Maya. I am 26. I live in Los Angeles. I am single, and I am a comedian and an actor.
I'm Eric. I'm single, and I live in New Jersey. I'm 27 years old.
I'm Nicole. I'm 22. I'm from Miami, Florida, and I'm single.
I'm Max. I live in New York City, and I'm single, 31 years old.
For the first couple months when we were in full lockdown, it was just a no-go. That was an absolute no for me.
Like some people I met in person, other people I would just be like talking through the apps and then like Zoom and whatnot.
I was a little bit nervous pre-vaccine to go out on actual dates and stuff, so I wasn't dating a ton during the pandemic.
Dating was a big part of wanting to get vaccinated. I wanted to get back out there, start mingling with people again. In fact, I really tried to talk my way into a date with someone I was getting vaccinated with.
I think we all have a little bit of social anxiety after being in quarantine for so long, but I'm happy to say that things are feeling a little bit more normal.
When things started first opening up, it was a little odd because I wasn't used to being in like crowded spaces and talking to a whole bunch of people like that. But it's like riding a bike, you never really forget it.
People have different levels of comfort with what they want to do on dates now. So certain people don't want to go to concerts yet or go to baseball games. So making sure that people are really clear with what you want to do on a date is really important.
Since I've gotten vaccinated, I would definitely say dating has become almost all in person. No more FaceTime dates. Thank God, honestly. I'm just excited to be able to like go to bars again and meet people out in the world.
I think Hot Girl Summer is in full swing, and I'm happy to be here.
What a good ad for all of them, right?
Right? Yeah. I know. Find their profiles now.
Right, on Hinge. We're joined now by Logan Ury, Director of Relationship Science at Hinge. I love that title, Director of Relationship Science. Logan, thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here talking about dating.
I know, right? So I think it's really interesting that during the pandemic, as you said, dating went up on Hinge itself. Mm-hmm. A lot of times these dating apps get a bad reputation, but it looks like 75% of people are looking for an actual relationship.
Yes, that's exactly what we found and what we were really interested in, because there had been a lot of rumors of this shot girl summer or waxed and vaxxed, but what we're finding is 75% of people spent the pandemic thinking, I don't want to be alone, I want to find someone, and now they're ready to get back out there and really date.
Well, at the beginning of the pandemic, I wasn't dating anyone. And in the middle of the pandemic, I did start dating somebody. At first, I was using the apps, and it wasn't really working for me. I ended up getting set up on a date. But that whole FaceTime, the calls, the setup, I actually really preferred it because you got to know people before you went out on an actual socially distanced date. Do you think that's going to stick around?
Yeah, that's exactly what we've heard. And so 65% of people who have been on a Zoom or FaceTime date tell us that they plan to continue doing this after the pandemic. And that's because they felt really safe. They could do it from their comfort of their home. And it's this low pressure vibe check. It's a chance to say, are we a good match before we meet up in person?
And now you're able to show that you've been vaccinated on your profile, which I think is funny. It's like your age, if you have a pet, and now if you're vaccinated. How's that working out?
Yeah, it's been great. So as you have up here, singles who say specifically that they've been vaccinated are getting 30% more matches.
Oh,
and that's really meaningful. And so we love being a part of helping get the word out there about vaccines and why it really matters for dating.
So, Logan, you're also the author of a book called How Not to Diet Alone. Pretty bang on the nose there.
You caught me, yeah.
What's interesting is people clearly don't want to die alone. However, they also are fearful of getting out there and dating again. In fact, a slim majority of people on Hinge feel a little bit afraid. Why is that?
Yes, I'm really glad you brought this up. And so 75% of Hinge users are ready to get back out there and find a relationship, but 51% of them are experiencing FODA, which is F-O-D-A, fear of dating again. And this is exactly what we saw in the clips that you played, where people want to meet someone, but they're also experiencing social anxiety about their rusty dating skills and even maybe being in public on a date.
So I find it really curious that you see that there are people that are still using these apps, and you probably expect that more and more people will continue to use them. So what will that look like? You're in charge of relationship science. I'm from days of yore when you went out into the wild and it was either the thrill of victory or the agony of defeat, right?
Savannah grass.
Exactly. I'm out there, Tony, loving it. Back in the day. But do you think that what will that look like in 10 or 15 years if no one's actually interacting with another person in person? They're just meeting folks through technology.
Yeah, this is a great question. And so even before the pandemic, according to research from Stanford, meeting online was the #1 place that successful couples were meeting. And so this has been a trend that's going on for a while, but the pandemic really increased it because it was the only safe way to meet during that time. And I think that we'll continue to see that. But what I hope that people are doing is investing in in-person conversation, whether that's hitting on somebody in public or having a great first date, right? The apps are just how you meet. But once you show up at that coffee bar or go on a hike, you are the one who has to make conversation. And so let's continue to teach people how to do that.
All right, you heard it here first. The director of relationship science at Hinge, Logan Ury, endorsing hitting on somebody in public. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. We'll have you back soon.
Thank you so much.
I love how, we were talking earlier, Jamie asked us what was our line, and I tried mine on you, right? It wasn't a line, but I said you generally approach somebody, and you have a wingman, so you say, this guy thinks the Beatles are better than the Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones.
And I saw you, there you go. So now we start having a conversation about the Stones, why you think they're better than the Beatles.
Well,
I'm a Beatles guy.
I can't believe my boyfriend continued to date me because we did the FaceTime and texting and talking on the phone. We finally meet in person, and I made him answer 62 questions.
What?
And we had a second date.
See you later. I'm out.
And then he had one question, which was, can we stop this now? All right.